Okay. So I just wanted to tell you that I used the video. Joe shared this awesome video of you because that was the week that I did my post formals and I was finishing up formals. Okay. So that's why I ended up using the video because I wasn't able to make it in. But so the video that I observed, you were in the video. You were gisting. You started with gisting. You asked the students to tell what the paragraph was mostly about, and it was about storm surges. The scholars was able to get that. You stamp like what you want them to understand about the storm surge, and then you call on a scholar to read the first question. And I really like how you stamped that the question gives the key idea, and their job was to choose the statement that best supported the key idea. So you clarified that question.
Yeah, they have trouble with those types of questions on tests, so I wanted to.
And speaking of that, so I really liked after that how you you did a test taking strategy with them. You embedded that in where you had them like eliminate incorrect answers for answering multiple choice questions. You take a nonverbal check of the first answer choice to see if the scholars choose the same answer. Like the second question was, how do we know that devastating means damaging? You have them use evidence from the text to support their answer. So you're doing all the good things that they're asking us to do by moving away from, like, years ago we'd have been like, step one, so continue.
Look for repeated words.
Right. So, like, you're encouraging them to do those things while not saying step by step. And I also love that you're incorporating the test-taking skills of, like, eliminating incorrect answers, because they still need those, too. Yeah. Let's see. So, that looked great. My only growth push for that, two things. I think you did the lift a little bit of why they eliminated the answer choice. So, like, having them explain why this answer choice doesn't work, carrying that lift.
Yeah, we did that today, actually.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then asking those follow-up questions. How do you know that this supports the key idea?
Okay.
How do you know that it doesn't support? So that's just a little tidbit suggestion to add. But let's get into the action step. So I don't know if you read this already, but the next step that I put down was to incorporate targeted circulation. So with the clipboard. So you already do the circulation, and I see you moving around, and I know that you are like looking at their papers, like taking it in your mind, because I hear you ask those follow-up questions. I hear you talk about misconceptions. So the next step I would say is to circulate with the clipboard in hand to collect class-wide data points. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why I think this is important, and you can tell me also why you think it's important to do. So one, we can find trends, right? Helps us to see blind spots. But it also, it demonstrates that it's like you're doing it. It's concrete evidence that you went around, you've checked off who has it, who didn't have it, and like it's solid, so that if anybody ever questions, like if anybody ever
You're
says,
not welcome here in your own office.
I know that you guys are doing some special things.
So if anybody ever says, can you show proof that you have, so what do you think the impact will be if you take that to that next level of carrying around a clipboard?
I think a lot of it's just like you said, with it's collecting data in real time, so better able to ask follow-up questions or guide appropriately. Just see in real time like what's going on.
Absolutely.
I think is probably the biggest lift.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So some steps to go with the action step. Let's see. it's also in your, if you go into your website.
One great data catcher. I see it in my email.
Okay, so I actually made like this data catcher, and when thinking about creating the data catcher, we think about our pathways. Do you have like a pathway that you use now? Typically, we've been taught to like go to your highest students 1st because if they're not getting it, like if Cameron Warren is not getting it, then
Right.
So I'm going to share with you this data tracker. Actually, I did already. So,
Yeah, I see it in here too.
do you see it in your
Yeah.
Gmail? So just take a look and see, thinking about your pathway, who would you say that you would go to first to see if like the class is getting the skill?
To be honest, for me and my class, I feel like I always go to Julian first so that there's no behavior issues. So I get him started.
And where would you say he falls on like the...
He's actually pretty high.
Okay.
So like, I know people don't expect it from him, but he's actually a very good reader. And he's capable of doing a lot of the work on his own.
Okay.
However, he doesn't believe in himself. So when I go to him first and I can get him started right away, then I'm able to like spend my time circulating.
That makes sense.
Otherwise, he's just going to be like goofing off and creating behavior issues, and then I'm unable to because I'm dealing with him.
That totally makes sense.
So I always go to Julian first.
So you can add him. Let's put Julian at the top. And like if you see anything else you want to change, I just went by like who I thought, but
yeah, Julian is surprisingly very high.
okay.
We don't expect it, but he's actually very smart. He just kind of has some learned helplessness.
Are there any other kiddos that like super high, or anybody like you seem to already have a path?
I do.
So-
I mean, there's a lot of kids that aren't in my classroom during reading.
Oh,
So
okay.
like Jamie's not in there during reading.
Okay.
Like Sharmaya, Samira, they all go with Miss Wilson.
Okay. You can talk about it. This is yours to do whatever you want with.
And like honestly, for me, like I know like it's supposed to be like student targeted, but it feels more natural just to like
Go down.
walk the aisles rather than like running all around and like going to random kids, because it feels like that's kind of like almost like a waste of seconds, you
Right,
know. When
right.
I could like I'm passing you right now, like I can just check you off now.
Yeah.
So maybe having it by like seating.
Yep, that's fine too. So however you want to arrange the kiddos,
I'll
that's
do
fine.
that when I'm in my room so I can see
Yep.
where they are.
But I really like how you're thinking about Julian.
Yeah, he's I gotta get him started.
Yep. So then the next thing that after we talk about like the kiddos and you make your kiddos, think about the highest leverage data points that you want to collect. So I brought up some of your lesson plans for this week. So is there a particular lesson plan that you want to look at? I have 11, 14, and 16. Which one do you think you are able? Do you think you can implement this week on one of these lesson plans, or would you prefer to do next week?
I can probably do it this week.
Okay. Which lesson plan?
Let's do. I did 11. What did I do today? Me trying to find what lesson plan I've already taught this morning at 8:30.
I think 11, right?
I don't remember, man. It's been a long day already. I tried.
And by the way, like I just want to show you something. So, like this is what she submitted. So I'm gonna tell her, like, to put her own annotations. Like that's not acceptable for her.
Oh, like she's
just-
putting mine.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. So she should still be, just so you know,
Okay.
aware that she should still be like identifying common misconceptions and things like that. So it's okay though that.
Yeah, I just put it in there. We put them in there just to like save each other.
Right.
And that way we're like norming on like what the answers are across the board.
Absolutely. Because, yeah, I know how that could go.
Yeah, because, you know, KIP's also just like convoluted sometimes. And like,
Yes.
you just don't actually know like what the answer is.
Yes. Yep. I've been there for sure. We could do.
I did 14 today. So it's 14 and then 11's tomorrow. The lessons are all mixed up today.
Oh.
So it's like 14 today and then 11 tomorrow.
Okay.
And then 15, 16.
Okay. Quick question while I have you in this
Yeah.
lesson. Do
For 14 or 11?
for 14.
Okay.
Like, is there a time where, like, you guys review, like, this lesson talks about steps, this lesson talks about ideas, like, how will they know that the answer is events? Have you talked about ideas and steps? And
We've talked about it in terms of text structure.
right, so they've already seen the text that does ideas, they've already seen the steps.
Not really. It's been mostly events.
Okay.
So, but I mean, that's just another lovely side of KIPP is that I've always thought that with text structure, we should be like teaching each type of text structure and then going back and having them like figure out what it is for whatever text.
Right.
But like, that's just never been the case with
Okay.
KIPP.
So even with, like, down here with compare and contrast, cause and
Mhm.
effect, what text structures have you reviewed for that? Or
I
have
mean,
you?
they should know all of those because
Okay.
they've seen them at some point in 3rd or 4th grade. So like they saw compare and contrast in 3rd grade.
Right. They do.
And they know, like, when I compare and contrast, I look at two things, I tell they're the same and how they're different.
Mhm.
And we did, like, look at that chart and, like, talk about each one and talk about, like, what each one means and the, like, clue words
Okay.
for each one. So, like, the one that they have the most trouble with is really just, like, I mean, all of these ones they should know, like problem and solution, compare, contrast, cause and effect, chronological. Like, they didn't have any issues with those today. It's really when we get into, like the description, because that one's like more vague, where it's just like a topic and details about the topic. They have trouble with that because they're looking for something else.
Okay. That's right. You said you taught this today. Okay. All right.
Yeah, this is like maybe they did pretty good on this lesson today because this is maybe and like it's not, this lesson wasn't like specifically like what's the text structure.
Mhm.
It was more like, I don't know, like identifying. It was like, it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't straightforward text
mixture.
structure. It was like a
Right.
weird thing.
Yeah.
But like they actually did pretty good on it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm actually not mad at it.
Okay. So let's look at it. So you said you're going to teach 11.
I'm teaching 11 tomorrow.
Okay. So what do you think would be like the strongest piece of data that you can use?
I want to do key point for sure.
Okay.
So like it's that first question, what's the key point on page 42?
Okay. And like you can do, I mean, I know you've done this before.
Mhm.
Got it, didn't get it, take notes. Any way that you feel is best to capture data where it's useful to you. So like in the past, did you do like, what did you do? Got it, didn't get it, or?
I mean, in the past, I just, like, a lot of the things I do is, like, if it's a multiple choice like this, A, B, C, or D,
Mhm.
they, like, show, like, they'll do it on their own because it's silent and solo, and then they'll show one for A, like, they'll hold it up in the air. So if they chose B, they would show me number 2. And then I
Okay.
can quickly look to see, like, mostly everybody got the right answer. Like, we're good. We can, like, move on.
And I would
Or
say
whatever.
you can continue to do that with like multiple choice.
Mhm.
I think maybe, and you, I mean, obviously do what you think's best, but maybe like constructive response answers where you're seeing trends. Like, so for example, like you said, wait, key idea, where is that? What question
That was
is
the
that?
first question.
Okay,
It's like
so
number 1, what's the key point? It's a
because it
multiple choice.
seems like it would be cumbersome to like write down all the letters that they choose, right? So I was thinking maybe more like where was it, like number 8, what main idea does the timeline show? Like you can jot down keywords, or like even, or got it, didn't get it. So those are different ways that you can do it. But if you're going to do key idea, you're going to stick with that. What do you think the best way to do it? Are you going to write?
I would probably just look and see, like, I'd probably just write down the answers of the friends who didn't get it.
Right.
And then if it's mostly that they didn't get it, then I would just chalk it up to, like, we need to, talk about this. So for, like, my real-time data,
right,
or
like if everybody who didn't get it all chose
right,
B,
then I can just
figure out
why.
Right. Why did they choose B?
I did that a little bit today. It was like, there was one where a lot of friends just got one wrong, and we talked about it. I said, so this isn't the answer. Can someone tell me why it's not?
Perfect.
And so,
And it sounds like you put the lift on them to explain their answer choice. Perfect. Okay. So we got that. So I would encourage you to like do this as much as you can on a daily basis, and then you can look back and see if you're always getting wrong answer choice when they are doing, say, like finding key idea, and you see that's a common trend, then you know that you can then go and see that and put key idea questions going forward in future lessons, even if it's not planned in there. Okay. Did I finish all the action steps? Let me go back.
Random question. Did Jamila Brown withdraw?
she withdrew and then she came back.
Oh,
She
okay.
came back today.
Okay, because she does not have any.
Yeah, she just started back today.
But,
She
yeah.
withdrew like in September, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was like the very beginning of the year. Grandma took her out because of COVID.
So they erased her power school probably.
Yeah, and now she's back today.
Cool.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. Okay. So if you can you repeat back to me what your action step
Create data catcher. Create a pathway. Decide on highest leverage data. Collect data.
Yes. Yes, you have it, and it's there if you need it. So going forward, that's when we come in on a serious note. When we come in, that's what I'll be looking for for your next step. But continue to do the awesome things that you're doing. This is just the next step in with all the wonderful things you already have implemented.
Cool.
And the only other thing I guess that I want to quickly talk about is you already know how to do CFS. Do you have any questions about it? So I would say just going forward, whether you put it on the smart board or whether
Is it okay if they're just on the student-facing materials?
Absolutely.
Okay, because that's what we've been doing. Because we've been using CFS
It's
for the most part already. Like with our not with our short answers, but with our extended responses, we have been
you mean
So, like,
you've been
last-
putting them
in the student-facing materials. So like, I just graded one from last week, and I was like, oh look, there's a CFS right there. Oh, like
I
here.
don't see it.
This is lesson 10. So like, there's already one in here.
Oh, okay.
So like, we've kind of already been using them a little bit.
Okay, perfect.
So
And then just make sure that you're adding them in the exit, like at the end of the exit ticket.
if it's extended response.
If it's extended
Okay.
response. Right. So let me just show you something else real quick. So this I would have actually made, because you know they want us to step away from step 1, step 2. So this could actually be your CFS in summarizing the text. Take out the steps and just put CFS.
Cool.
All right. All right. That's all I have. So
sounds good.